came from a background of, again, I'll post up some pictures of like a before and after, but first it was like a fat loss transformation turned powerlifting record holder, placed nationally, ranked nationally, turned bodybuilder, turned, it just turned business owner at the, just all sorts of stuff of really what I would consider what this country freaking needs more of out of men.
So I grew up in Southeast Iowa. I grew up in a super small, like rural country town. Grew up on a little acreage with my folks down there. And I had taken a job at a manufacturing company in the Pella area. And I traveled all over the country and world for them, which kind of leads you into the fitness side of my journey to some degree. Because during that time, I'm never home. I'm on the road. I've got a credit card that's endless. And there is no, or in my eyes at the time, there was no like, well, here's a quick, easy, healthy meal. It's just, I wanted a burger and fries. Got it. You wanted a milkshake while you're driving from Dallas to San Antonio. Cool. Let's get a shit.
Of course I want a milkshake.
I went from 120 pounds to 205.
205 from one. That was that picture, right? I'll post that up on the screen.
So yeah, I've got an 8-year-old son. I own a small construction business in the Des Moines Metro now, and I'll be 32 in February. Ignorance is bliss. So I got on Google and just found this 12 weeks. I think it's like the 12 weeks of powerlifting to make you a badass or something. It was the stupidest name. Sold. So
I want to be a badass, and I don't want to take longer than 12 weeks. I'm in.
And I found a meet in Des Moines, and I was like, okay, here's my goal. I have no idea what I'm actually doing. No coach. Nobody's told me anything. Google has gotten me to this point, and I'm gonna do a total of 1,200 pounds. So I weighed 145 pounds, and so I went there and I got 1,201 pound. And I was like, what? How the hell did I win this? This is crazy. I didn't even know it, but I had set at the time, which it's all been broken since then by me and some other people. But I broke the Iowa State or the state of Iowa's deadlift record and the squat record. And I was like, this is crazy. First meet, no coach. And the guy that would eventually become my coach in powerlifting, his name's Jeff.
Yeah.
Super great guy. He was there, and I had started out deadlifting at 405. And then I went to 455, and then I went to like 512. And he's like, dude, these jumps are crazy. Do you have a coach? And I was like, no, coach, I don't know what I'm doing. He's like, dude, like you're doing this all wrong. You need to make like very small incremental jumps in a meet. And I was like, well, hey, dude, I'm going to do 1,200 pounds today, and I have to do 512 to get there. So that's what we're going to do. And literally, I loaded it up. We did it, and I did a clean lift, and so I did 1201. And then he's like, "Hey, dude, can I be your coach?" And I went down that powerlifting road. Shoot, I'm 32 or gonna be 32, so I bet I did that for 5 years, Joe. I think. Yeah. At one point, I think I was ranked 11 in the U.S.
Was that 2021? When we started working on, because I took over your diet.
Yeah, so I was naturally weighing probably about 160 pounds at that time.
Yeah.
And I would just do like a pretty dirty cut to make 145. And then so I'm stupid. And so I had a buddy say, hey, you can't cut to 132 and compete. And I'm like, okay, yes, I can. Watch this.
I wasn't going to, but now that you told me I can.
So that's kind of when you and I truly linked up, and I started to actually talk about dieting and nutrition. And so you took me, I want to say we started in like January or February that year, and you dieted me down comfortably and well to my next meet, which I did at 148.
Yes.
And so that was a very smooth transition. So I think at about June or July of 21, I was 148 pounds on a stage doing a meet. And then you dieted me down all the way to about 135 pounds while still maintaining all of my strength. I mean, I didn't gain any strength, which is pretty natural when losing weight and, just depleting yourself.
Most people are not threaded with six packs on the powerlifting.
No. Yeah. Oh, no. And I usually got a lot of crap for that because they're like, well, dude, just get bigger. Like, weight moves weight. And it's like, that is real. And there's genuine science behind that. But that's not the goal. Is I want to look good to myself. Like, I don't care what anybody else thinks. I want to feel good about the way I look and still be strong doing it. And then that's when like you became a huge asset in my life, and just being kind of that guiding factor in how we dial in nutrition over a long period of time, rather than these harsh cuts that I was doing, water cuts, like, sauna suits, just sweating your ass off just to make weight so you go pick up a couple of pounds.
And then after we did that, it was kind of like, okay, take a little break. It was, hey, you need to go feed yourself again. You need to get yourself, and then all of a sudden we took a little hiatus from planning to all of a sudden, hey, I want to hit the bodybuilding stage.
Yeah. I think we ended up doing basically nothing until like mid 2022. I still went to the gym. I was still dieting. Like, I want to say, like, to the point where where we started talking about going onto a bodybuilding stage and going down that road, I was still only like 155, 160 pounds. And if probably 12, 13% body fat. So like not in bad physical shape by any means. It was just, I had a powerlifter body. I had no shoulders. There was zero roundness to it, zero definition to it. I had a thick back, massive hamstrings, and odd shaped quads because I sumoed everything. I sumo squat, I sumo deadlift. And so like my hamstrings play such a big role that like my quads were oddly shaped.
Yeah,
I have
more of an inner quad sweep,
yeah, a massive inner quad sweep. I mean, there's two huge chunks of meat on my inner quads. And so it was more so when I was talking to you about going on a bodybuilding stage, I wanted to, I'm a competitor naturally. Like, I just want to do it. And it's not to beat other people, it's to beat myself. To just to say that I can do it. So I was like, well, if I tell myself I'm going to do a show, I'm going to force myself that accountability to grow the areas that I'm lacking. And so I can remember sending you messages like, "Hey Joe, my shoulders, there are none. My back is thick, has zero shape. My quads don't exist." And so it's like, I'll dedicate all of the work and the time to do this if you help program me down this road and get me to where I don't look like an idiot on a stage.
And then we fed you.
And then we fed me, yeah. So
we fed you a lot, but and you're that guy that you thrive in having a regimen. Just like, again, most people are not going to go download an Excel spreadsheet just to program in their lifts. But but it's like, but it's funny. It's like we all say success leaves clues.
Yeah.
Yet everybody avoids, like, the great thing about the world we're in is, yes, the information's there. Like, most of the stuff I know, nobody taught me. It's just I've read and read and listened and listened and read and listened. I mean, it's just eventually you compile all this, just like, but yet you're in that same position. It's like, yeah, most people are not going to do that, which is why, again, you're being interviewed on a success. Like, what makes somebody sick? So again, when everybody listens, like, yeah, but I don't want to do that. Yeah, but I don't want to do that. Well, then you cannot expect to get the results that he had. It just, again, yes, you want it, but yet you cannot expect to have it unless you're willing to do what successful people do.
My food is, ideally, I would never have you change my meal plan other than this quantity in my meal plan. I want it to be the exact same every day. I don't want to have.
That's funny you say that, because I was kind of the same way. Like, I had somebody doing my nutrition once, and I'm like, they put like 4 different types of protein in my plan, and I'm like, like, let's just go with 2. But they think, and I get that way too. I'm like, oh, they're probably bored. I need to spice up their life, because that's just, that's what we think as a coach. And you're like, no, I just want simple. I'm like, cool. Hey, I'm like, damn, he is like me. I'm like, okay, he's actually cool with this.
Yeah, beef, rice, eggs, turkey, like, keep it simple, man.
Keep it.
Potatoes, like, just keep it super simple, and that's the way I want it. It even goes into my personal life a little bit, from like the standpoint of vacations. Like, I went to South Texas this last week to go hog hunting. It was a great. I hated the whole trip because I was not regimented. Like, bedtime, wake up time wasn't the same. How I get ready in the morning wasn't the same. Like, I'm so regimented that I need things to be very similar every single day. And like, I didn't take food with me. I'm not in show prep, and so I ate poorly. And then it's like this. It just weighs on me mentally. Like, hey, you can be better, do better.
From you losing the weight to start with,
Yep.
going and pushing yourself to set state records, nationally ranked, to then going from bodybuilding stage. In that time frame, what's probably the biggest thing that you learned about yourself?
Oh man.
That maybe you did, because I mean, we all think we know ourselves, but then all of a sudden we really truly find more out about ourselves when we actually overcome stuff, because again, that's hard to do. To lose that weight, to go into powerlifting, Googling it, to then turning around to going onto a bodybuilding stage, because again, those are things it's like never been in those situations, but yet those are very difficult things.
Yeah, they're definitely difficult, and they have such different aspects in how you train for them. But they're both very time consuming. So bodybuilding, my workouts are 45, 60-minute workout is a long workout for me.
Yeah.
Where in powerlifting, 2 hours was regular. It was very normal because I'm taking 5-minute breaks in between lifts. So probably the biggest thing that I recognized about myself as a person, just in general, was I wasted a ton of time.
Oh,
Like throughout my day, just such a time waster. It was like TikTok, Snapchat, Facebook, Instagram, like wasting all this time where it's like, well, there are only so many hours in the day. And I was wasting it doing these things instead of going to the gym or going on a walk or doing meal prep or whatever it might be. Dude, so much time is wasted on social media.
that is a great point, because most people, they tell you this just like they tell me this, man, that's awesome. Congratulations, man. I wish I had the time you have. I would, and you're like, wait, time out. Like, kids, career, business, it's one thing to have a career, but it's another thing to own a business, because again, like we don't shut business off. There is no, I've had 4 messages since we started this call. It's like business is never shut off. So it's like, I don't have additional time. I mean, I don't have more hours in the day that you do, and I don't have more hours in the day that my neighbor has.
Again, a lot of that goes back to being a business owner in the construction world, and we deal with a lot of emergency issues. And so, like through show prep, I know that there were at least 5 times where I worked overnight. So I would work the whole day. I'd get up at 4 o'clock, work the whole day, and then I would be off of work or off of that job at like 8, 9, 10 o'clock the next day, and go right back into working that day. Um, and I don't like making my guys do that because they have schedules that they need to keep for the whole week. If I get caught taking an hour nap in my truck, nobody's firing me. Like, I'm not going to fire myself for taking a nap, but they can't do that. And so I was the one taking those overnights. And it's like, okay, so now I'm raising a baby, or a boy. He's not really a baby. He can wipe his own butt, which is nice. But like, I'm doing show prep, I'm working, 36, 48 hours straight. And it's like, I can't jack around with the other time that I do have free. It was to the point where I was scheduling days that were normally off days to be like training days or whatever. And I would have to manage my meals, and it was chaos. But as long as you're following something and you have dedication to not wasting
You know,
time, make it work. It's
that's
not even,
that's that's a big deal, because a lot of people think like, oh man, there's a kink in my schedule. It's like, yeah, because you're alive. It's like,
yeah.
because we have two different worlds, right? There's like your ideal world, like if all goes perfect, and then there's reality. It's,
Yep.
this is what my day should look like, and then as your day goes, you're like, it is not, apparently it is not going to end up the way I but yet we're shocked when it doesn't. It's like, I'm shocked when my day goes as planned. Really a compliment to your leadership of, the way you run a business. A lot of people, business, everybody thinks, yeah, hey, I'm going to go into business, I'm going to go do all this stuff, and I'm going to be the boss, I'm going to be the man. And it's like, no, most people don't think that way.
Yeah, I mean, it was humbling to when the business started. It was kind of that mindset. Like, obviously, I'm never gonna like let my guy. When I started the business, it was me. Like, it was owner operator type stuff. And then it slowly added employees. But you're the janitor, you're the clerk, you're the attendant, you're the accountant,
Yeah.
It doesn't really matter. You're leading young men or older men or women through their career. Like, you're responsible to order the toilet paper for the shop,
Yep.
for the paper towels. Like, they need this. That's you. Like, the boss isn't. It's not this glorified like, hey, I'm just gonna make a ton of money and do nothing. Like,
Because as fathers, we're always trying to, like, instill into our kids all these great habits. You're like, man, I hope I'm doing this right. But it's like, but that's our path. And it's just, we whether it's through fitness, whether, because I always try to equate fitness through sports to life. It's like there's a lot of lessons that, again, I mean, I grew up playing sports that transcend over into business, and how you do anything is how you do everything. But it's
Yeah.
like, what are those things that you and your son kind of talk about?
Yeah, so the big one that I think that he and I talk about, he's not nearly as involved in the fitness side of it as I am. I don't even know if it's ever going to be a passion of his. Not going to push it on him. He's going to choose his own path in this life, and I'm just going to try and push him towards the right path.
Yeah.
But the one thing that we'll communicate about is like, well, Daddy, I don't want to go to the gym today. It's Sunday. I want to sit at home and play outside or whatever. And it's like, hey, bud, I do too, but I'm committed. I have a commitment to this. It is a lifelong commitment to me to be healthy and be in the fitness side of the world. And so I don't necessarily try to force him to go to the gym, but some level of commit to the fitness side. So if we don't go to the gym, like before I take him to his mom's house or whatever it is, we'll go on a walk or something like that. There still needs to be commitment. And so it's once he starts something, he doesn't get to just give up. There needs to be that level of commitment. As an 8-year-old, it's hard to understand that, but that's why I get another 10 years before he's an adult and tells me I no longer get to tell him what to do. So hopefully,
Yeah.
about time and as he's learning and growing with me, and I stay committed to it, that he sees that anything you want in life isn't going to come easy. Like I didn't even win the show. So, I worked super hard, or I thought I worked super hard, didn't win. I'd like to win at some point, which means I have to stay committed to reach that goal. I can't just not go to work one day and still have the business run. That's commitment. And so the fitness world is just a nice it's a nice avenue to show people what you can accomplish if you stay committed. So commitment's probably the big one.
Yeah, that, and I think that's probably one of the biggest problems with youth right now is there is no commitment to, it just, because, and again, we always, everybody always talks about the next generation, the next generation, the next generation. And I look at it like, actually it's the parents that are allowing their kids to quit everything. And then, because in their own minds, they're like, well, he's not doing great at it, so it's embarrassing to me. So, because he's 6 and he's not the greatest basketball player yet, or whatever, or, so they kind of let him off the hook. And it's, and it's like, well, by quitting, you learn how to quit.
You get to just try something else and there be no repercussion. And you could have been super great at whatever you were getting ready to do or what you were doing. Sorry, I got to plug my phone in. But if you just get to quit, you'll never really know what you were capable of. And so I think that's going to be a huge problem. And it's probably been an issue throughout all of time for people in general, just being able to quit. There probably have been some, record holding or, exceptional people that have just given up too early.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. You almost guarantee that. What advice, again, I mean, I have said this and I've said this and I've said this. Most people are like that deer in the headlights. They just freeze. They just don't do anything. Right. Like what advice would you give somebody kind of in that position if they were really wanting to change their life, change their physique, change their health, change their trajectory of life?
Ooh, that's a super good question. I mean, honestly, if I were going to tell you, like, if you want to do it, you almost need to become obsessed with it to some degree. I know that sounds odd. Like you're obsessed with work. We as people are. You could hate your job. You're still obsessed with it. You talk about it every night when you get home. You talk about it with your colleagues or your friends over lunch. Like you're obsessed with it. You show up day in and day out, whether it's that job or another one. You're obsessed with it.
They're obsessed with the sports team.
Yeah, something like that. And so if you truly want something, you need to start become obsessed with it. You're going to learn the most if you're obsessed with it. If it's a hobby, most people aren't pros or exceptional at hobbies. They enjoy them. So whether they're good or not is irrelevant. They just enjoy it. If you want to achieve, your dream or whatever it is, whether it's through fitness or just dieting down, become obsessed with it. Like Google has a ton of information. If you become obsessed with it, you'll find what's fact and fiction. If you can afford it, hire somebody who's already an expert at it. So I own a construction company and we are in the hydro excavation business. Do you know what that is, Joe?
No.
No, we cut dirt with water and we find buried utilities.
Yeah.
Do you if you need that done, you're not going to do that. You're going to
No, there's
hire.
no, yeah, there's no possible way I'm going to do, it's just like, no, I'm going to go have, and not only that, let's go find the best.
Right. And so it's become obsessed with it personally. And then you can start weeding out the fact and fiction, which is all out there accessible on Google, whether it's fitness stuff or any other life thing. I mean, you can find anything on Google these days, and some is fact, some is fiction. And then it's, if you can, hire somebody who is an expert, interview them. There are a lot of coaches, and I get along great with you, Joe. You and I have, we just kind of work. We're cohesive. Like, you have a ton of knowledge that I want, and I'm willing to listen to it. I'm also willing to just kind of sit in the sideline and like, hey, you're the coach. I trust you. Give it to me and I'll do it. And not every person is going to like that. Some people want to be very hands-on. I don't want to be as hands-on. I trust you. You have my guidance. You have my best interests at heart. I truly believe that. And so I've hired you, for years now to give me that guidance. But yeah, if you want that and you can afford it, interview them, find the person. If it's not working in 6 months, find the next person. Like, don't hold yourself back because like, well, I've committed to this guy or this girl. Like, no, if you're not seeing the results that you think you need to be seeing, and if you've done the research and move on and stay obsessed with it. Like, don't stay don't stay at your crappy job. Don't a crappy relationship where whatever. It's the same thing with a coach. If it's a bad coach, sometimes you got to move on. I watched the Jess Ott video, which is a great video, by the way. And shout out to Jess for her accomplishments. It's wild. So good for her. But yeah, she had a coach that wasn't meeting her needs, went to you and started seeing results again. It's like, that just happens. It is what it is. Yeah. And if we're going to stay on like the fitness related side of it, I mean, try gyms out, try different gyms out, try like, most of them, if not all of them, will have a way to get in with a friend, weekend pass, a week pass, a trial period, whatever it is. Try all of them. Don't try one and be like, this is probably good. I don't know. Try a bunch of them because, depending on where you're at in your fitness level, like your comfortability in the gym, there are going to be different gyms that appeal more to you. And maybe over time, that gym appealment is gone and now you need a different one. Like, go try them. Try all of them.
Yeah,
exactly. At one point, Joe, I was cheating on you so hard. I had 4 gym memberships, man.
Prior to me owning my gym, I was paying $300 and some a month for gym memberships.
Yeah. I was probably really close to that. It was like, I had yours, and you were kind of my go-to when I needed to go down and see you in person to talk about like some nutrition guidance. And I didn't want to do it over the phone. And so like I had your gym for that. And at the time you were wildly inconvenient. I was living in Altoona. So I guess it shouldn't be wildly inconvenient, but not very convenient. But then I had any time because it was convenient. It was 3 minutes from my house. And then I was still powerlifting. And so I had a DSM barbell gym membership. And then it was like, okay, well, I had a Genesis membership as well because like they're all over the metro. And a few of them have saunas that I needed for like when I was cutting weight. And I'm like, they all have a valid purpose to me. And so I could justify it. But it was like, okay, well, I'll justify this if like, I quit partying, I don't drink anymore. So I'm not spending money on alcohol. Like, I'm also not going out to eat because I'm following a pretty rigid diet.
Right.
And so I don't have the added expenses of eating out. And if I stay true to these things, I can afford those gym memberships.
Well, now let's finish up with some fun stuff. Let's get you bragging a little bit. You set the state record in the natural federation.
Yep.
At that one that we did at what? It was 148 pound, right?
Yeah.
Or 146, 148.
Yep.
What was the we'll do them in order here. What was the bench?
319.
319 at 148 pounds. What was the squat?
Man, I might even have to look that up. I want to say it was like 496.
Yeah. I know it was right up there. And then the freaking deadlift was just freaking crazy.
At one point, I pulled 573 while weighing
573.
I didn't do that one on a stage. I pulled 556 on stage.
Yeah, at 148 pounds.
yeah, it was a lot of fun. I've since been beat in Iowa.
Has it been beat? Bro, really.
So, yep.
Now, association, and then we'll get out of here. What do you think about? Because I've been on this big kick here lately, but what do you think about when you hear the term comfort zone?
Man, I don't know. How do you want me to be mean or?
Well, meaning this, like I was just, I heard this advertisement today, and I did, and it was this, hey, you can have all this and blah blah blah. They're selling you whatever, and you don't even have to leave the comfort of your own home. And I'm just like, yeah, but how can something be good if it's you don't have to get uncomfortable?
I
No,
don't.
there's nothing you have. The time you asked your wife to marry you, you asked that person out, you applied for that job, you went to school, you got, you fought hard for grades, you fought to get on the team. Nothing was like, wow, this is really, really comfortable.
Yeah, I mean, nothing's ever supposed to be comfortable. Asking a girl out or a boy out isn't comfortable,
Right.
but it could lead to great things, not
Yeah.
good things, great things.
Yeah.
Like, sure, you can have all this from the comforts of your own home, and it's going to be good, maybe,
Yeah.
but
Maybe.
it'll never be great.
Yeah. It ain't going to be great.
Like, there's so many experiences in life that are great because you go out and you get out of your comfort zone to have them or to be in part of them. Um, so the comfort zone thing, I don't know. I have issues with that. Again, I'm a little more meticulous and rigid in life. And so it's like, well, I don't want to be comfortable because I don't want the same thing. I don't want to be, I don't want to be, I think I'm weighing 182 pounds right now, Joe, or 183. Like, I don't want to be 183 pounds in 3 months. I want to be 190, 195 because I want to be growing. And it's not comfort. There's no comfort in that. Like, there's no comfort in eating 4,000 calories a day while being 5'5" and, whatever. It's not comfortable. What's comfortable for me is 2,200.
Funny thing about fitness is it's like, there's so many other things out there, but everything always, comes back to fitness. But yeah, I mean, there's so many other things that people can do. Skateboarding, whatever, out mountain biking, yeah, running, whatever. But powerlifting, bodybuilding, CrossFit, all that type of stuff, there's like today there's so much more like glory in it, right? Everybody,
Oh,
with Instagram and social media, and every girl wants to be that famous glute model, but yet they just photoshop their glutes or put little implants in her,
yep.
but it's like there's so much that goes behind it that everybody thinks, I want that, I want that, I want that. And it's like nobody wants to still, but yet they don't want to get out of their comfort zone. They don't
For
want to
sure.
eat food. They don't, it's like, yeah, because I always get this from like the younger guys in the gym. They always ask me this, and I'm sure you've been asked this, but they're always like, okay, Joe, like, okay, so I'm getting ready for this big question. Okay, how do I get as big as possible, put on as much muscle as possible, and still keep my like abs? Like like they're asking this like really profound question. I'm like, guys, I'm like, when you figure it out, let me
Let
know.
me know. Yeah.
We will be billionaires.
Yeah.
Yeah, when you like, I have no idea how to do that, but
Yeah.
yet, but everybody wants to get into fitness. Everybody wants to get into bodybuilding. Everybody wants to get big. But wait. You mean I got to eat, dude? I was eating 7,000 calories a day for a
Yeah.
year,
Isn't that
7,000
crazy?
for a year. And I mean, I didn't have abs. I had to grow a beard, but that's like the big thing is, you grow a beard in a bulk because your face gets fat.
Oh, do these
That's the
cheeks, man.
bodybuilding.
Like I smile and it starts to close my eyes because I'm so fat right now.
Yeah, it's like, it's a real thing. And it's like, wait a minute, I thought you're supposed to do it. I'm like, no, like, look, I wanted to get massive. I wanted to get
Yeah.
humongous, and then people are like, well, I don't want to get too big. I'm like, you're not.
You're not gonna get too big,
I'm
man.
like, I was trying to, and I still never got like huge.
Yeah. I'm gonna go back a few topics when I kind of said like find your coach that you trust. Like if you can afford it, find that person that you trust. Because when you were like, hey, you got to eat, bud, and you got to eat a lot. I was pretty small. I was pretty lean, and I felt really good about the way I looked.
Yeah.
I had a problem going out on a boat with my friends and taking my shirt off. Not a problem. And then as we started to bulk and grow, the muscle that I wanted, that I told you I wanted, you're like, hey, buddy, like here's the deal. You're gonna add fat with that. Like how much? Probably depends on how clean you stay inside of this diet, but inevitably it's coming. So there was definitely a lot of trust in you to take me up to bring me back down to where we really wanted to be. And so if you do not trust your coach or the programming you have, whether nutrition or anything like that, you're going to go through a phase where you just need to shut your brain off and not think and just do the
You
work.
know, that's a big point. I want people listening to really grasp that. When meaning this, what was your stage weight?
Oh man, I think we came in at like 157, Joe.
Yeah. Now, at that time, when you were boating and you had abs and you were, now I had the convenience of being married and I just didn't care. It
Yeah,
wasn't like I wasn't going out on boats and, taking my shirt off to really care anyway. So I guess I had that luxury of bulking. Like, who cares? Julia could care less.
yeah.
But what did you weigh so you were lean, you had abs, but what did you weigh before we started packing it on?
I was definitely like in the mid to upper 140s.
Yeah, yeah.
We
So think about that.
we were definitely mid to upper 140s, and like I didn't have really defined abs. They were
Yeah,
there.
and on stage you were shredded and you were heavier than that.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. And I
You were
cut all water.
significantly leaner than you ever had been in life, and you were far heavier than when you were
Yeah, so
because we
to
went and packed on the muscle.
a little more like dive into that. I'm probably you're one of few clients that drinks a shitload of water,
Yeah,
maybe to the point that it's too much. But I was weighing
yeah,
148 pounds, drinking 2 gallons of water a day.
yeah.
I was 157 on stage, and I had saunaed, I had dehydrated a little bit, like I had what did I get the day before show, like a
We
cup.
gave you about 90 ounces the day before, if I
Yeah,
remember right. And then by the time you hit stage, you might have had about 20 ounces that morning,
yeah, maybe. And so it's like,
if
okay,
that.
all that water weight, which a gallon of water is 8 pounds. And so, you've fluctuated your body by 10, 15 pounds
Yeah.
removing water. So, I weighed about 12 to 15 pounds more on stage at, a couple percent body fat versus like 12.
Yeah.
And I had no water in me either. So there was probably a good 25-pound, like muscular difference from
Yeah.
where you found me in November of 22 to when you put me on a stage in November of 23.
Yeah. Yeah. And then think about that, again, a guy's mentality, having guy talk, yeah, boating, being lean, standing out a little bit, getting attention. And then all of a
Yep.
sudden, okay, look at the attention you got by putting the abs away for a little bit.
Yep.
I had I've got this I'm sure she follows you on Facebook, but there's a gal that I went to high school with, and she's like, he needs to be on a calendar. Message me. Yeah, totally. Because because I was posting some of your progress stuff, and she's like, when are, yeah, she like commented her message like, hey, when are you coming out with the Awaken the Warrior calendar with him in it?
I'm just saying, dude, we could do that. We could make, I don't know what you're going to sell, but like we could try it.
Yeah, maybe I'll use my old pictures. It did like cut for like, as far as, I mean, almost like show ready, just for the hell of it. I just want to see if I can do it, because the mentality is different. Going on stage, kicking someone's ass and winning is like enough motivation for me to do show prep. Like that alone, thinking about going on stage and not winning is enough for me to like, all right, I'll go through whatever I need to do. But all of a sudden, just to do it for the hell of it, it is a little bit, it's just, it's just not that, there just isn't quite that motivation.
I mean, no, not in the sense of winning, but
Yeah.
there's some validation of like, hey, you're a fairly renowned coach in the Des Moines Metro, maybe even outside of the Metro. I know that a lot of online clients aren't even in America, not Iowa. And so for you to go back through that and do another show prep, it's like, hey man, I still have it. I still know what the hell I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Prove it on myself. And so
I did that when I went to Mexico. I got down to about 6.5% body fat.
You're eating Twinkies every day.
I got in pretty good shape, going to Mexico, but I was kind of like, man, I totally could have went a lot further, because I was like sub 3, and I don't want to get to that. I don't, but I kind of want to flirt with it again, just to just to say, hey, all right, yeah, I still got it. Yeah, it might be maybe it's maybe it is a Awaken the Warrior
Yeah.
calendar thing. And we'll sell. I don't know how much charity we would be able to come up with on that. It'd be
Yeah.
different if we had the women in there probably, but so
You got to choose better talent, man. I'm the short guy here.
hey, it must not matter, but that's the funny thing. Like, I'll ask you this, like, I feel this way because I was little growing up, dude. I was tiny. I mean, I graduated high school 128, 130 pounds at 5'10,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
I mean, cross country. I mean, I was little. I mean, my knees were probably bigger around than my thighs, right? Runner legs, but
Yep.
even to this day, like, I still feel like a little dude. I mean, and I never got like giant. I mean, I never got really, really big, but I mean, I was bigger than most, but like,
Yeah.
it's funny, that mentality. It's like, yeah, no, it's like, I still don't see myself that way.
No, no, same.
Yeah,
I'm
it's
still
odd.
5'5".
It's funny.
I'm still 5'5", and like, I, even if you show me a picture that like
Yeah.
I'm clearly big, I still won't believe it because like I need to be bigger. I want to be bigger. Like,
It's funny.
I
Yeah.
think that I, I tagged you in that picture the other day, and it's me and you standing there the weekend before the show, and like,
Oh,
if
and
you
you
look
look
at me,
giant. You look gigantic.
yeah, most people would assume that we're probably like the same size. And when I'm
Yeah.
around you in person, I'm like, Joe is massive compared to me. This dude is huge compared to me. And I'm like, I just want to be bigger. Like, why am I so damn small?
Yeah.
But dude, when we first started working together, I was wearing a small t-shirt, like a small. Then we got to a medium, and I was like, cool, cool. This is nice. So I had to get my small stuff because I'm like, I'm never going back. And then it was like, okay, mediums are getting really tight. Like, my arms don't fit on them anymore. Like, my head's barely fitting through here. And like, you can see my belly when we're in bulk mode. So medium's got to go. And I was like, but a large was wildly baggy on me, like so big. And I was in the gym yesterday, and I was wearing a long sleeve, like large t-shirt. And I was like, dude, this thing's so tight. It's so tight. Like, it's painted on me. And so it's like, I'm to the point now where like, this is a large and it is stupid tight. And I'm like, I'm getting bigger. I appreciate that I'm getting bigger. I'm gonna have to go into an XL, but I'm still not big enough. I don't know if 2X
That's
is
what
where we.
Skyler finally goes. He goes, enough with the large. You're an extra large now. I'm like, all right.
Yes, yeah,
It just, but it's just, it's like, it's funny, but yet at the same time, I would rather be that way than the other way. Like,
yeah.
I feel that way. Yeah. Is that being a head case? Is that, yeah, a little bit, but it's still kind of like, no, I have a healthy discontent with where I'm at because I don't want to think like I've arrived.
Yeah,
I'm good enough.
and that might be a mindset. It might be a personality
Yeah.
thing. I'm not sure. I don't know the deciding factor or the determining factor on that.
Yeah.
I think I'll ever feel satisfied. And I don't think there's a problem. I think it would be a problem if I were
I really don't.
extremely unhealthy things to achieve that. There's absolutely nothing wrong with what we're doing. Like, we diet up, we diet down, we live in the middle for a while, we diet up, we diet down, we live in the middle for a while. Yeah, is it a little uncomfortable to be heavier, like being on the bulk side? Sure. Is it a little uncomfortable being so lean? Sure. But they're very short periods of time. Like,
Yeah.
In my entire 32 years of life, those 3 months are no time at all.
Right.
It's
right. Yep. Exactly.
so the mainstay is that happy medium, most of the time where you're very comfortable. And so I don't think there's anything wrong with it. People are like, dude, like you can't get that big, you can't be that healthy. And it's like, well, I'm doing it in a healthy manner. Like, there's nothing wrong with having good muscle on your body. I get my blood work done.
I was just gonna say, I get my blood. It's like, well, here, I'll compare my vitals to yours and my biomarkers, and hey, it was like, endocrine panel. What's that? Oh, you've never ran one? Well, then you probably shouldn't talk about my health. It's
Right,
like,
right.
okay, yeah, it's like, enough of that. So that's cool. Well, good deal, man. Hey, buddy. Yeah, like I said, you inspired some. Apparently, one wants to see you in a calendar. So
Hey,
there's
man.
a little bit extra motivation there.
Never got that DM. I've been waiting years for it. I don't know.
Oh, that is so funny, dude. No, man. Hey, but yeah, let's yeah, we got to get organized on your show here, but let's talk soon,
Yeah.
my man.
Yeah, for sure. Awesome, Joe.
Sounds good, buddy. See you, man.
You did.